I've said it, you've said it, the entire country has been saying it. We don't have a foreign policy as a nation. We seem to go whichever which way the wind is blowing. And we've seen it right here in Africa with our own foreign policy. The other day, Traore took power, Captain Traore that is, in Burkina Faso. Our president lectured him, and now everybody loves Traore, but they hate our president and this country. We look like we're the ones who are anti-progress. No one in West Africa wants to hear about Kenya except Nigeria. Even South Sudan has beef with Kenya. Reason being, our leaders brought the RSF rebels into this country to form a shadow government. A government which never even took power. Today, no one in South Sudan wants to hear anything about Kenya. We are like public enemy number one to them. And now, believe it or not, we have taken our incompetence to the international stage. Let me just put things into context so that you see what I'm saying. The other day, when Biden was in power, he accorded President Ruto a state visit. This is the second only to any African leader from the United States of America. To the best of my knowledge, the last one was Nelson Mandela. This is the other one, William Ruto. They brought out everything, the police officers, the red carpets. Biden even let him sit in his chair. Here's the picture of Ruto sitting in Biden's chair. After that, we signed lots of economic trade deals, including free trade agreements. For the first time, the United States and an African country were going to do trade for free. All of you who love Apple products, ingekuwa bei ni mzuri. But hata muda ikuenda. Ruto is called to China for a state visit, anakimbia huko mbio mbio. He's received by President Xi. They roll out the red carpets, an entire parade and so on. Here's the images. Now, this international prostitution did not go unnoticed by the Americans. And they've called out William Ruto for deceit. Just listening to Mr. Rich, the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, calling out Kenya as a country and our leader. And towards the end of that tape, I want you to just listen closely. There's a part he's hinting at toppling this regime. Here's the tip.
In President Trump's first term, his administration engaged in talks with Kenya over a potential free trade agreement, a first for sub-Saharan Africa. And now Secretary Rubio and other senior officials have ramped up engagement and confronted threats from al-Shabaab and the Islamic State head-on. But these efforts cannot be siloed. They must be part of a broad strategic effort to protect American interests in Africa while also protecting the U.S. taxpayer's pocketbook. Many African nations maintain troubling ties with China, including key national security partners. Just last month, President Ruto declared that Kenya, a major non-NATO ally, and China are co-architects of a new world order. That's not just alignment to China, it's allegiance. I submit for the record the text of that speech. I'm going to enter it in the record at the conclusion of the hearing that describes this. Relying on leaders who embrace Beijing so openly is an error. It's time to reassess our relationship with Kenya and others who forge tight bonds with China. And it isn't just an embracement of China, but also the, quote, new world order, end quote. Still, there are countries where meaningful engagement is possible, but only with sober judgment and clear-eyed realism. We must stop building U.S. policy in Africa around individual leaders and instead focus on strengthening institutions, expanding private sector ties, and empowering the region's young and dynamic population.
When Chairman Rich says that they must stop empowering individual leaders and instead focus on strengthening institutions, that means you can expect the US to meddle in our elections. They don't want to give power to one individual, they want to empower institutions. Which institutions are they talking about? Is it IEBC? Not really. It is the people of Kenya directly. They've been using US aid for this for quite some time, but now I believe they're going to take it a notch higher. The current President Trump isn't interested in aiding Kenya per se, but he's interested in punishing those who disrespect America because his policy is America first. Now, what are some of the things they can do to topple this regime? Number one, I won't be shocked to see the CIA and the FBI leaking leaking documents at critical times prior to the upcoming elections, just to rile up the people. BBC already did it by exposing that the military was killing people outside the National Assembly. What do you think the FBI and the CIA will do? Our corrupt leaders are communicating using Facebook, they're using WhatsApp, they're using Telegram, they're using Gmail, they're using iPhones. These are all products that are owned by the Americans. Much as they're encrypted to you, they're not encrypted to the FBI and the CIA. They can get a warrant and go and access those information. Number two, Kenya could be the subject of economic sanctions. This current American regime under Donald J. Trump has already done it to South Africa. And Kenya is a very easy target. You can pick any one of our leaders' great sins and use it as a justification for economic sanctions. It could be abductions. It could be extrajudicial killings. This is very dangerous, what is happening to this country. And it comes at a result of having incompetent leaders at the helm of ministries, which they have no business being in. If you're the CS of Foreign Affairs, to the best of my knowledge, you need to have a degree in international law, or at the very least a degree in international relations and foreign policy. What does Mudavadi know about mediation, arbitration, negotiation, DDR, disarmament, demobilization and reintegration? Has he sat in a terrorism class? Personally, I have, and I can tell you for free that there are so many competent lecturers and professors in this field who can serve as CS of Foreign Affairs, and they will do an excellent job. They know it in and out. But instead, we have an economist. He was just rewarded for being a politician, a political broker for that matter. Na amepewa kazi mbili ndo mshahara ikue at least anaweza jisupport. It is all about the salary. So long story short, if we don't do something about our foreign policy, where every state visit tunaitwa tunakimbia. We don't even care who is who, hatujui tuko pande gani, mahali pesa iko, watu wamekimbia na tumbo. That is dangerous for this country. Tumbocracy should not be allowed. But anywho, that's just my take on the matter. Do drop me your comments in the comment section below and I'll do my best to read them and to give you a response. And in the event you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching from a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula, hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. Alright guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.